is president and CEO of Slott and Company, and he's also written a new book. I don't know how many books you've written. I know you've written a bunch of them,
A bunch, yes, enough.
but the newest one is called "The New Retirement Savings Time Bomb," and it's about tax implications. Correct?
It's all about the taxes. The taxes will determine how much of your retirement savings you actually get to keep. Most people think it's theirs. Can you imagine?
Yes. Well, so let's talk about that for a minute because people save money in these tax deferred accounts, 401ks and IRAs, and somehow they forget that they haven't paid taxes on it. Is that one of the biggest mistakes you're talking about?
Oh, yeah, yeah. People think the money, for years I had clients, they were so happy. They said, look at that. I've got 300,000 or even a million in some cases. Look at, but they would show me their statement. Look at this. I have 300,000 in my IRA. And I would say, what are you looking at? That's not your money. It's just temporarily on your letterhead. You may not be keeping a lot of that money, maybe even half of it. You mean
So,
only half is mine? and,
so,
and you
so
hit
that
it on the head, Rodney.
so that means people are planning. They're planning incorrectly because they're planning thinking they have more money to spend in retirement than they actually do.
Right. That's because we all made what I call the tax deal with the devil many years ago. And as with any deal with the devil, there's a day of what? A day of reckoning, payback time. And with IRAs, at some point, you have to take the money out. That's called the required beginning date. That's when our government basically determined that, look, we're sick and tired of waiting for you to drop dead and we want our money back. That's it. And at 72, that's the new age, it has to start coming out the other way and be taxed. That was the deal that we all made because that was the only deal available. We got these tax deductions up front. Some people forget they get those tax benefits all those years. It's almost every time you take a tax benefit, a deduction, it's an IOU to Uncle Sam. That's really what it is. It's a loan. Every time you take a tax deduction, if you thought about it that way, it's like adding to the mortgage on your IRA. Now, Rodney, you hit the perfect term. These are tax deferred accounts. That's way different than tax free. And that could be a huge difference. And that big difference comes down to one little 3-letter word, yet, Y-E-T. Tax deferred means you won't pay taxes on that money yet, but you will at some future time, maybe on a higher balance, maybe even at a higher rate, as opposed to tax free, which means you'll never pay taxes on that money. That's where you want to be, but that's not where most people are. Most people have most of their savings for retirement in either an IRA, tax deferred, in other words, all taxable when you take it out, or a 401k taxable, or a 403b taxable, or maybe a 457 taxable, because that's how we were brought up. That was the only option. So now many of the people like at my age in the baby boomer years are coming up maybe on retirement or on that magic age, 72, where the train has to stop and go the other way. Then you go from accumulating to taking the money out, forced distributions, whether you need it or not. And that's when the tax hits. And that's why I call my book The New Retirement Savings Time Bomb. I'm talking about the ticking tax time bomb. Say that 3 times fast, Rodney. The ticking tax time bomb in your tax deferred, in your IRA or 401k, that growing, building, compounding debt that gets worse every day that goes by. In fact, you've seen the stock market going crazy every year or the last year. Every time it goes up, that's more money, yes, for you, but also more money for Uncle Sam. And I don't know if you realize this, he's not even your real uncle, but yet he still gets a big share of the check. So you have to do something about it. Otherwise, you get what I call the government plan. So I say in my programs, in my books, you want your plan, not the government plan. And then people ask me, Ed, what's the government plan? Well, that's simple. That's doing absolutely nothing and letting it all happen to you. That's how you lose chunks of the money you save for retirement. You want to be proactive. So I'm glad to be on this program talking about that big tax problem, the growing, building, ticking tax time bomb in your retirement account.